welcome into my walkthrough for the end of the world. We're going to be getting every single chest in the end of the world. This isn't going to include the Ansem fight. When you load on in, the first chest is right in front of you. This first room we're in has invisible walls, so you have to take a specific path to get all the chests. The two chests that you could miss are the final two chests of the room, so I'll show you how to get those. The first chest is going to suck you into a little battle, and once you're done with that battle, you're going to load right out, and you're actually going to be right in front of the chest. So you see that next screen chest right in front of you, run to it. And the thing about some of the battles here, it's interesting. If you open the chest, though, and you go into a battle like right here, when you load out of the battle, you'll automatically have the item in your inventory because you already opened the chest. And then there's some chests where you'll go into a battle, and then you still have to open the chest. So just a little note there. So you're done with this battle. We got the chest for a pretty stone. And now we're just going to turn our camera a little bit left. And see, I'm running towards that red chest in the front. I can't get anywhere. What I don't realize is there's a chest all the way to my left. I just like got disoriented in the battle, and that might happen to you. So I just wanted to leave this part in of disorientation just so, you know, just in case other people get a little disoriented in here. Once you get your Mega Potion, now we're going to turn our camera to the big red chest, and we are going to go over to it. Flying is still kind of slow, so I switch between flying and dodge rolling in this world. The red chest is going to take you into another battle, but this time it's with a behemoth, so I'm going to leave this fight mostly in, or at least part of the fight in, just to show you my tactic for fighting behemoths. I like to put on whatever level air magic I have, as long as it's 2 or 3, because that actually does ticks of damage against the horn when I'm up here. We do enough ticks of damage against the horn and he actually falls down. Another tactic is to use gravity magic on the behemoth's horn. That's a really popular tactic too. So whichever one you want, gravity or wind, use it on the behemoth's horn, and then just beat the behemoth up. When you're done with that, you're going to get yourself a mithril, readjust your camera, and now we're going to the green chest on the far right. So the chests that you can miss are the last two chests on the far left. You basically have to get every chest on the right, and then kind of do a little loop-de-loo to get the last two chests. So mostly what you're going to be fighting in here is angel stars, angel stars and invisibles. There are two enemies that are relatively tough. Gravity magic takes them out quickly, or if you've leveled up from doing synthesis a bunch, you'll be able to just like knock them out real quick. I think at this point in Proud mode, I'm at level 80 something with the Divine Rose Keyblade, so I'm not even using the Ultima Weapon or anything here. So it's pretty simple, but getting the Ultima Weapon before this point is, I think, not possible, because your Gales actually come from inside of here, and your Stormy Stones, which are other synthesis materials you have to get. I normally do all the synthesis at the same time, so it's, I don't do it gradually, so maybe you could get Ultima Weapon before here. Okay, now you've grabbed the first of the two chests on the far left. Turn around and face the last green chest, and you're going to be running to it. And what you just got right there was a Gale. And you only need 6 Gales to complete synthesis in this game. The final chest gives you an AP up. So we're already one of our 6 Gales down. And honestly, if you have Lucky Strike on all 3 of your characters, you're probably going to be pretty close to having all of your Gales by the time you're done with End of the World. At this point, it's just a game of like finding those invisible walls. To here, it's the left. Once you hit this final point, you're going to go into another battle with a behemoth. It's exactly the same as the last battle. There are different forms of the behemoth, which you kind of get to see here and there. You've got the arch behemoth, you've got the normal behemoth, and then I think you have a destroyer behemoth. Okay, this room is the most complicated one to get everything. So the first thing we're going to get is the dark matter in here. And so just kind of follow my pathing here, look straight ahead, and we're going to go to that platform straight ahead at the same level on the left-hand side of the room. And now you're going to look to the right, and you're going to see this webbing all the way on the far right. So we're going to fly over that webbing. And it's important you take this pathing first to kind of make getting all of the chests easier as opposed to climbing back up and down. So now that we're up here, we're going to go turn back around to the way we were facing, and we're going to jump across 2 more platforms to get this chest that was kind of hidden, the dark matter. You could barely peek this chest when you were just starting out in the room. Okay, now you see that purple webbing below us. We're going to fly to that purple webbing where it is, and we're going to drop into that area, and you're going to have some enemies that spawn some invisibles, angel stars. And once you kill them all, oh, some dark balls too. Once you kill them all, that giant red crystal we landed on is going to disappear, and we're going to be able to drop down to get a chest. You can, however, fly underneath this and just land on the platform with the chest if you want. I just wanted to show going the webbing way. So we got the Meteor Strike, which is a really, really, really strong weapon for Donald. So I immediately put it on Donald. It really ups his strength and takes away a little bit of his magic. But we have Donald mostly in the settings that we set for Donald. It's all, you know, hit people. Okay, so here we've gone down from that chest to the left, and now we're making our way down all of these ledges, and you see the next purple webbing area is right in front of us. So that little purple webbing area, we're going to fly into it and drop down into it. It's going to be exactly the same. We're going to kill a bunch of enemies, and then we're going to be able to fall down, see the red crystal disappeared, and get this chest. From here, turn to your right, basically. See that webbing, that green webbing on the wall? The really long one? We're going to that, and we're going to climb all the way up. So there's a pathway on your left when you're halfway up. Ignore that pathing and just keep on climbing all the way up. And you're going to get, once you get to the very top, there will be a platform on your right. When you get to this platform on your right, just jump up, and you're going to jump up again, turn to your right, and you're going to see the chest we're going for. And just kind of make your way over there, you know, try not to fall. From this chest, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get on that little ledge that you see right there. So I end up flying and jumping onto it because I couldn't actually, like, get Sora to go on it from the walkway, from the normal thing. Once you're there, you're going to fly over to these little things sticking out of the wall, and you're just going to jump from one to the other and kind of get all the way to the top, and that's going to give us our last item in this area. Once you're done with this, just drop all the way down to the bottom and make your way to this, like, shiny portal. There is a save point right there if you want to hit that save point. Now we're going into an area called the World Terminus. And what this is basically you're going to have these glowing beams you walk into, and you're going to walk into a beam that represents each of the worlds that you've traveled across. So just go ahead, run across, hit the blue, and then go inside the first portal, and that is going to be Traverse Town. Each one of these little replicas of the world you've been to have a chest inside of it. So make sure once you're done killing the enemies, do not leave until you get your chest. The first chest is going to give us a Spirit Gem. Now we're heading into the Wonderland Terminus, and we're going to get ourselves a Thunder Gem before we leave. These aren't items you necessarily have to get if you don't want to, but they are items that, like, you have to go through these World Terminuses anyway to make the last one disappear so you can go into the next fight. But it's not like a Thunder Gem or a Frost Gem is going to make or break you. Now we go into Hercules World. The chest is on the far back right behind the Hercules foot. And then just make your way out of the Hercules World the same way that you would normally go to your gummy ship. So, like, a Spirit Gem, Thunder Gem, Frost Gem. We're about to get a Bright Gem from Deep Jungle. We get a Blaze Gem from Agrabah. Then we get a Lucid Gem from Halloween Town. And it's like, those aren't critical by any stretch of the imagination. You can grind those out in other places. But it is nice to have one less item to grind if you wait until this point to do your synthesis. So after we go into Agrabah is the first place where I think the chest is maybe a little bit difficult to find. You're going to run through, so Agrabah's basically open where you run through all the different areas. And once you get to the very end, you're going to be at the Palace Gates. When you get to the Palace Gates, jump up on your left and then kind of turn around and follow the pathing that I show you here to grab the chest. And then you're just going to drop down and head back out to the exit as if you were going out to the desert. And that's really the hardest world to find the treasure chest, I think. And you're only getting a Blaze Gem, so again, it's not the end of the world if you don't get it, but it does, you know, it's an extra synthesis item. Atlantica is going to give us an AP up. AP ups are always nice. You know, the more skills you can have on Sora to a limit, you know, there are some skills you don't want to have on, the better. And then in the next world, Halloween Town, we get the Lucid Gem I was talking about. And then we get to go to Neverland, which is another world that's a bit more confusing than others, so I actually leave in all the pathing there. The chest for Halloween Town is just up where Oogie Boogie starts during the Oogie Boogie fight, and then just make your way back out. But in the next world of Neverland, we're actually going to get the Mighty Shield for Goofy. And the Mighty Shield is actually a really good shield for Goofy, if not the best shield for Goofy. I change it out for the defender shield here. I'm pretty sure the only shield that beats it is his ultimate weapon. Or he doesn't get an ultimate weapon, but his synthesis shield. But his mighty shield is also hilarious. So anyways, Neverland's another one of those places where you're going to kind of go through all, just like Agrabah, you're going to go through all the different areas seamlessly. The first one you're going to go into is here on the left. And then, you know, the door's going to open. And then you're going to go into the room on the back wall. So you're just going to head back out into the main area, like I'm not doing here for some reason. Sorry about that. So you're just going to head out and turn left. And I do that so much. I do that in my Agrabah or my Neverland video quite a bit too. Turn to your right and you're going to get the Mighty Shield. So Mighty Shield's super critical. Don't leave until you get the Mighty Shield. And you see I just went from this huge Defender Shield to this tiny little joke shield for Goofy. And that's it. Now you head back out to where the first thing would be, and we're heading into the final worlds here. The next world is 100 Acre Woods. 100 Acre Woods is, there's no enemies. You just get a Mega Elixir, which is always awesome. And there's also a save point in here. So if you want to, you know, here's a good spot to save your game before the next final boss fights. And there are only 2 chests left in the end of the world. We're not going to get the last one until we get to the very last area. In Hollow Bastion, your chest is actually in the little room with the computer on the right. And now you basically head to, once you beat Hollow Bastion, you just head to your past area, head back to where Hollow Bastion is, and it'll just be gone, and you're going to fall into it. And now we get into a really fun fight with, I'm going to try to say this right, Chernabog. Chernabog? I think that's right. So basically Chernabog is another oversized enemy like Ursula 2. And you also fly here, which is very much like swimming, so you have similar mechanics. It's a pretty easy battle, but basically just whenever he bows his head, make sure you fly away from him a little bit to avoid damage. When he creates a fire, when he shoots a fire beam, just go behind his head to avoid it. And, you know, sometimes these little spirits will come after you and you can just kind of, like, ignore them. You know, it's not the end of the world. I keep wind magic on here and I just kind of beat him up. So that's my MO for, you know, Chernabog. Put on wind magic and just kind of go ham on his head. Watch out for those couple of, like right here you have the beams coming out of his mouth. And I just kind of drop down. I just stop flying and fall down. I didn't necessarily mean to, but I avoided the attack. And I just kind of like to stay on the back of his head or behind him. Now you have those little spirits kind of flying out at me. Again, I'm just kind of staying behind his head and attacking him. And it's a pretty simple fight. Once you're done with Chernabog, you're just going to drop straight down. And you're going to go into the volcano he's standing in right now. I really wish Chernabog, and I think a lot of other people agree that really wish Chernabog had a bigger role in the game and that he was actually kind of a big bad as opposed to just kind of a side villain that was put in. And a lot of documentation and feedback from the developers and like interviews and stuff have shown that maybe he was originally intended to have a bigger role in the game, which would have been really cool. But I'm happy they put it in. I used to love Fantasia when I was a kid. And so to have this character in here was really cool. And now you get the super glide ability, which you need immediately. Okay, so now you're just flying straight down. And once you get down here, you're going to see that there's a door right beside you at the very top, and then you can also kind of go down into the volcano. I explored this a bit on past playthroughs, and they both just led to the same place. And there's no treasure chest or anything. So I just take that door, and I just head down. And once you get down to the bottom of here, it's actually... I hate how I always grab onto ledges, you know? I'm actively trying to fly away from the ledge just not to grab it, you know? But anyways, when you get all the way down here, there's just going to be another little door for you to go through. And now you're heading into a really cool place. And this cool place, this is actually supposed to represent worlds that were initially supposed to be in the game, but weren't. So this, like, you see a lot of the little vines from Snow White with Maleficent. And people have shown how, like, Birth by Sleep actually has those exact tree designs in the Enchanted Forest. And so, you know, like Birth by Sleep worlds were based off of this because this was supposed to be like a conglomeration of worlds that have been destroyed or are sleeping or whatever's going on with the worlds right here. So now you're going to enter the final little area. You're going to fight another behemoth, and a little part of the emblem that you can see in the back is going to fall off on the top right. I skipped the behemoth fight this time because we've already seen one. There are 3 behemoth fights as you're in here, and there's a 5% chance for you to get another Omega Arts from those behemoth fights. So that would be awesome. Or maybe you got to come back through and fight them again, but you do have a 5% chance from other behemoths. You get a 100% chance from the first behemoth for Omega Arts, but, you know, more Omega Arts would be great for me. I love Omega Arts. I think a lot of people do. Not that there aren't better accessories in the game or comparable. So I left this in just to kind of show, like, you got to fight a couple waves of enemies to kind of finally, every time you take out a wave, part of the little emblem door is going to fall off. And this room is really important because this room is where Neo Shadows spawn. So whenever you're trying to farm for Gales later, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to teleport to the final rest and then come back in here. And this room can either spawn, you know, Angel Stars and Invisibles, which give you Gales, or it can spawn Neo Shadows, which give you the Stormy Stones. So very important farming place for later. It's the only place in Kingdom Hearts 1 where Neos actually appear. But this is basically the end. The only thing we have left to do is go into the final rest and pick up a chest. And that final chest in the final rest, you're going to get a Mega Elixir. So we're pretty much wrapping up the Kingdom Hearts 1 walkthrough on Proud Mode. And I'm going to start working on a Kingdom Hearts 2. I've still got the Haiti Cups to make a video about, the Gold match, the Platinum match, all the obviously the Anthem final fights, which aren't in this video, and the optional bosses. I also have in the works something for Synthesis. I'm not positive I'm gonna put it out yet. It's a pretty big endeavor. It might take me a little bit more time past this walkthrough to kind of really get my head around what, because I'm making like basically a tool in a place called Airtable. So just keep your eyes out. It's gonna be cool when I finally get it done. But this is the end of the world right here. You got this one last Invisible to take out. And Invisibles are such a cool enemy. I just love them so much. They feel like such a natural evolution of, you know, Shadows and Darkseid. Kind of like mini Darkseids with swords. Like, they just, I think they're really well designed, and I just love, I love the fact that you kind of get that Darkseid Shadow look to them, just that pure black all the way through. And so now you see the final little emblem is dropping off, yeah. And we're going to go through that door, and that is called the Final Rest. In the Final Rest, there are going to be 3 things. There's going to be a save point, there's going to be a door, and there's going to be a chest. Chest has a Mega Elixir, like I said before. The door takes you to the final fights of the game, and then the save point is those are used to, you know, you stand on them and you press triangle, and then you can actually save your game, just in case you didn't know that. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.